Beneath the shadow of the moon. The night was still, and the village nestled in the valley was cloaked in silence. Above, the moon hung heavy and full, its pale light casting a silvery glow on the land below. But tonight, something was different. A whisper of wind stirred the trees as the moon began to darken, slowly swallowed by a shadow that crept across its face. The villagers gathered outside their homes, eyes turned upward in awe and fear. They had heard the stories, passed down through generations, of what happened beneath the shadow of the moon. Old Alara, the village elder, stepped forward, her frail figure bathed in the eerie light of the half-covered moon. Her voice, though quiet, carried with the weight of time. "The shadow is not just darkness," she said. "It is a bridge, a doorway to what lies beyond." As the shadow consumed the last sliver of moonlight, the world plunged into an unnatural twilight. The air thickened, and a chill crept over the land. From the edge of the forest, a low hum began to rise, as though the earth itself was awakening. Young Amara, standing beside her mother, felt a pull deep within her chest. It was as if the very shadow itself was calling to her, beckoning her forward. Her heart raced, but curiosity overpowered her fear. She stepped away from the crowd, unnoticed, and made her way toward the forest where the hum was loudest. Beneath the shadow of the moon, the forest looked different. The trees seemed taller, their branches stretching impossibly high into the darkened sky. The air shimmered, and through the haze Amara saw them, figures not of this world, gliding between the trees. Their forms were fluid, their eyes glowing faintly like stars in the night. One of the beings, tall and graceful, approached her. Its voice was soft, like the rustling of leaves. "You are brave to come," it said. "Few dare to walk beneath the shadow." Amara swallowed hard but nodded. "What is this place?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "This is the in-between," the being replied, "where the veil thins, where our worlds touch." The being gestured, and the forest shifted. For a moment, Amara could see her village through the trees, the people standing beneath the darkened moon, unaware of the otherworldly realm just beyond their sight. "Tonight the shadow allows passage," the being said, "but not all who cross may return." Amara's heart pounded. "Why me?" she asked. The being looked at her with eyes that seemed to hold the universe within them. "Because you listened," it said simply. "The shadow speaks, but only a few can hear its call." As the moon began to emerge from the shadow, its light piercing through the darkness, the figures began to fade, the forest returning to its familiar form. The being smiled, a soft, almost sad expression. "Go now, before the door closes. But remember, Amara, beneath the shadow of the moon, the world is larger than you know." With that, the being vanished, and Amara found herself standing alone at the edge of the forest, the moonlight washing over her. She turned back toward the village, her heart still racing, the hum fading into the night. The villagers were dispersing, the eclipse over, the world returning to normal. But Amara knew, deep down, that nothing would ever feel quite the same again. For beneath the shadow of the moon, she had glimpsed the unknown, and it had glimpsed her in return.